Hello and welcome to another episode of the Beautiful Creatress Rising show. Welcome sisters, welcome one, welcome all. It is so lovely to have you back for another episode. Today we are talking to the beautiful Kat Martin, and Kat is a voice activation guide. She is going to talk with us today about really stripping back into the voice that we were born with and how to move our body and move our souls and move everything so that we can align to that true voice and really begin to, what would it be, Kat? Like sing our soul's natural tune again?
Ooh, I love
that. Something
yes.
like that. Yeah, welcome, Kat. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so delighted.
Awesome. So let's jump straight in. Kat, how did you get started? What's your journey into becoming this voice activation guide? I like guide.
I would have to say that my journey began in my mother's womb. I promise it's not going to take forever to say this, but I was really blessed to have a mom who was very passionate about music and put us in music at a young age. And I think that is so important for all of us to have access to music, you know, at any age, really. But it is so part of our humanity. It is so part of our soul. It is part of our bodies. And so I loved music, loved playing music. I loved singing. I have memories of rolling around in the grass with our dog and singing into his ear. Like that is what music and my voice was to me. And I was also bullied a lot in school when I was a kid. And so there came a point where I had been chosen for a couple solos in something because I was really finding my voice. And I got very much made fun of. Kids were like, why is your voice so loud? Why does it shake so much? Because I had a very strong vibrato. And, you know, we all know those stories about what kids said or what adults said to us as kids. So what happened for me, now that I understand about the voice, I separated my voice or my concept of my voice out of my body. We all know that feeling, especially if we've experienced trauma of leaving our body, not being in our body. Well, I basically separated my voice out of my body. And I was also not in my body for many years too. So embodiment is my entire practice. And I was still so much in love with music. I was pursuing an opera career for all of my 20s, and I was incredibly passionate about it, and I wanted it so badly. And long story short, so many different things happened. I kept beating my head up against the wall because I couldn't figure out how to sing, because it was this unattainable thing outside of me that I was trying to grasp. And I was also hoping to grasp my worthiness and my validity as a human being in my ability to sing so perfectly and beautifully. Emphasis on the word perfect, which let's do perfection. And finally, what happened is I had a lot of different health issues come up. Particularly, I completely lost my voice. And I went to the best specialists, the best teachers, everybody that I could to help me try to figure out logically or scientifically or like an understanding in the logical realm of why I was losing my voice. And everyone was baffled. There was nothing, couldn't figure out why the pain, why I was losing my voice. And it wasn't until I started going a more somatic based, a more spiritual route of understanding all the causes underneath in the subconscious in my body of me not being in my body. And it set me on this whole other path of realizing, oh my gosh, I was separating the idea of my voice, of this is my opera voice, this is my singing voice, and this different persona, when it was all a part of me the whole time. So I reclaimed that. I found that refound my voice that I was born with. And now that's what I do with other people. That's what I help them with.
Amazing, amazing. And when was it that you kind of made that connection from the perfect voice out there to the perfect voice coming from within?
I tell you, it was a long journey. It was multiple layers. It was, and I don't know who's familiar with this term, but I definitely in 2018 I had a dark night of the soul. If whoever's familiar with that term, different things were stripped away from me of my life. The job I had, my life in Los Angeles, that final straw with having a huge opportunity in the opera world and that being pulled underneath my feet, and my mental health suffering, everything. So I was forced on my knees. I was forced to have this understanding because I couldn't, there was no more pushing it anymore at that point. And it really came from finally being forced to, but finally surrendering. And the big thing for me is coming to my knees and just feeling so low. And it's the closest I've ever been in my whole life to having thoughts of wanting to take my own life, because I didn't know who I was. I had no person, like, who was I without opera? Like, I needed to prove to the world how amazing my voice was. And I forgot where I was going with that. So I made the promise, as I was at my wit's end. I said, I will quit music forever, or if I continue having music and singing and music and sound and dance in my life, it can only come from a place of joy and pleasure and being embodied and in my body and part of me. And otherwise I will not do it. And that was the biggest turning point for me.
Yeah. And so now with the work that you do, what's the process of kind of bringing somebody into that awareness that, their ideal voice or their soul aligned voice comes from within? Do you have to strip back belief work? Do you have to, focus on getting them in the body? Like, what's the process there? Without giving too much away.
Yeah, no. It is definitely different with every person, obviously, but the things that are the same is the breath. We start with the breath first, because the breath is our prana, our life force. It gets us into our bodies. It connects our physical body to our emotional body, to our spiritual body. So for me, it always starts with breath. And whether we'll do meditation or chanting, feeling safe in helping people. This is what I had to do first, is actually learning how to feel safe in your body first. And that is essentially what I consider embodiment to be. And that could look like many different things. So that can look like breath work, meditation, visualization, movement, and actually I will actually do visualization or meditation of us becoming aware. Like, when is the last time you've thought of your palm or your left, big toe? So like, first it's about coming into this present moment, which is about coming into our body. And a lot of times, because of things that have happened in our lives, we don't feel safe in our body. That is why I had my voice outside of myself. It didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
So, number one, that's a big.
I'm really trying that on as we talk, and I'm like, yep. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. And so from the breath, and breath has so much to do with all aspects of our body, from pleasure to play to, and it begins with that feeling safe. And how do you then go, like, what about things like the fifth chakra and those kind of, things that are stuck in your voice that perhaps are stopping your voice from being this soul aligned beauty?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Ooh, well, I could talk about this for days. I love talking about the throat chakra in particular. Um, but it really is. They are inherently connected. So while I do a lot of work, particularly on the fifth chakra, I really end up having to do work on all of the chakras
Okay.
because our life force, beginning with the root chakra or the first chakra, or I always kind of get confused about the different names between 1, 2, 3, and right. But if I'm talking about the root chakra, in our pelvic floor, are where our safety is, how we feel, whether we feel, sustained, like we can live today and tomorrow. So it's really about always consciously working on all of them and aligning them, because that life force, I can be working on my fifth chakra all day, which I do, but then not have done any work on my solar plexus, and
Yeah.
there's a stagnation. So really, when I do body work, when I do voice work, it's about going through our entire body to make sure to allow the energy to be constantly flowing. Because if you see this, like my feet rooted into the floor, whatever's rooted into the floor, whether I'm sitting, lying down or standing, it doesn't matter. But singing at the end of the day, or making any kind of sound, is allowing energy, whether you call that spirit energy or God or source or whatever that higher energy is, surrendering the energy to come in with no blocks, allowing this energy through, and then allowing it to come through these chakras and up and out.
Yeah.
So with the fifth chakra in particular, there's so much that can be done. So I do yoga of the voice as well. I'm also a yoga teacher, and I specifically became a yoga teacher with the intention in mind that I wanted to add that to what I already help people with, because I wanted to understand the body, understand the energetic body, and how that's combined. And so yoga of the voice is talking about how we use movement and sound together to work through these different blocks. Because I can do a movement, I can do an exercise in this part of my region, and that's working on my solar plexus. I can do heart openers, and then there's specific yoga poses or movements, or even just stretching that helps with the fifth chakra. And so just as much as making sounds, the movement of it and making sure that it's not constricted, that nothing's tight, that the fascia is
Yeah.
supple, it's all
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah, this is a personal story, but I feel it's so important here. I had a jaw realignment, or a jaw massage with my applied kinesiologist the other day, and my muscles in my neck here, there's kind of 4 muscles that attach to this little one, and they were all out. And so she, through these gentle kind of massage things that she did on my bits, it was all realigned again. And I had a really interesting month of needing to have a really important conversation with my partner, but not.
It always works out like that.
And I was really, really struggling to have this conversation. And there was a few other things, a few other kind of conversations in my world that weren't really happening. And I wasn't, anyway. And after this alignment, it was like the universe just conspired for me to have all of these conversations. And they were all really beautiful and really potent. And it all just came from this release inside of the throat chakra. So I love that you do this yoga for the chakras. That sounds amazing.
Yes. I wanted to add on to that story is so beautiful, and I so resonate with that. What I say after all the work that I've done on myself and with all my students and clients, and the more I do this work, the more I've said, I realized, oh, the more what I do to heal my voice heals me. And
Yes.
what I do to heal me heals my voice. So it's always connected, and I've seen those coincidences, so many times where I was having horrible neck aches constantly, and it was very much also having to do with not feeling safe to speak my truth with my mom. And so, of course, I go and get acupuncture, release the tension in my neck, and then I end up having this conversation with my mom. So it's just, or it could be vice versa. You find that you end up having that conversation and you're like, oh, where did that pain go?
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. And so, what are some of the things that you want to share with us inside of the Creatress Rising app? You talked about yoga for the chakras, but I'm not sure whether that's part of some of the things that you're going to put inside of the app. Tell me about those things.
Oh, wow. Most importantly, I'm going to give some really powerful chanting and easily accessible vocal exercises that are not just to strengthen your ability to make sound and to sing, if that's something that you want to do, but to be able to actually use your voice as an instrument in healing your life and your physical body. Because the sounds we make and the words that we make alter our frequency and ultimately our DNA. It's all connected. And so this is very powerful work into being able to really work through things in your life and to work through pain and things going on in your body. So that's incredibly important to me. And when I'm talking about yoga of the voice, what I want to show are movement practices that not only work with the fifth chakra, but align all of our chakras so that you can feel more powerful in your life to show up, to step up, to stand truly into your power, like within your body, and to feel in your body and your voice, because they're connected and you can feel that. And that translates to being able to perform, if that's something that you want to do, being able to go into that business meeting and kicking butt, like that translates into all areas of the life, feeling sexier and more in your body, and feeling more confident with your loved one to be able to like take, that next step, or to like try something different. It's all connected. So so it's about the connection between movement and the voice, and how we can use both sound and movement, and how they can actually dance very beautifully together and help each other.
Amazing. I'm so excited.
Me too. I live for this.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kat. That has been such an inspirational and a thought-provoking tool for me, just in knowing that, it's like every area of our body, whether it's our voice or our hips or our skin or anything, it's like the healing for that piece is aligned to the healing for our whole being. The healing of our voice and the healing of our being is connected. The healing of our movement is all connected. And so to play with all these different tools that we've been given inside of the app and see where's the next place for healing for you is so, so beautiful. So I hope everybody goes straight to the app and checks out Kat's work and really enjoys it. Thank you so much, Kat.
Thank you so much.